some people are so threatened by someone else's confidence that they want you to dim your own light just to make them feel better. And that's not gonna happen here. I mean, let's be honest, you don't like him because he's flashy, because he has a nice watch, better than yours, better than mine, you know? I mean, that just sounds like hating though to me. I mean, he is a rich kid who's really earned it. And that's why people should actually be applauding Shedeur. He doesn't have any scandal attached to his name, upstanding citizen. He's always supportive of his teammates and has been an excellent leader.
What happens when a Cleveland Browns insider loses it? All because Shedeur Sanders dared to put community over clout. Mary Cabot straight up had a meltdown, acting like skipping the ESPYs was the same as skipping the Super Bowl. Imagine that.
Shedeur Sanders has easily become maybe the favorite player on Cleveland Browns roster for a lot of residents in Cleveland, and it has nothing to do with likes, social media posts, or anything, but the fact that he is making his impact to that community felt already as a 5th-round draft pick.
A young quarterback doing charity work turned into football treason. This isn't just sports gossip anymore. This feels like a full-blown soap opera with cleats. And the best part, we've got receipts, overreactions, and one rookie who just flipped maturity into the coldest flex you'll ever see. Let's break it down. Shedeur, a 5th-round draft pick, already making headlines not for drama, not for scandals, but for uplifting his people.
Sanders. Yes, that Shedeur Sanders is in the news, but for an amazing reason. Shedeur Sanders is giving back to the city of Cleveland. So if you don't know, there was a neighborhood in Cleveland that experienced an explosion that led to a big fire. And that left a lot of residents with no longer having homes, right? Like no food, no homes, because of the fire wiped out a lot of their homes, and it impacted this area drastically in Cleveland. And Shedeur Sanders, who was actually out of town when the fire/explosion took place, came back to the city and took care of the people there.
And somehow, that's the problem? Forget that he skipped some red carpet filled with Hollywood extras. What actually shook folks was that he had the guts, the nerve, to put kids in his hometown first, instead of chasing empty applause from celebrities. If you're rocking with this story, hit that subscribe button right now. It helps more than you think. Who wouldn't recognize a post route if it smacked him in the face? Welcome to the Upside Down, where sports media throws tantrums over kindness, and somehow charity is treated like a crime.
There was a real great one about Shedeur Sanders where he goes, hey, everybody says this stuff about Shedeur Sanders is nepotism, and he shouldn't have his jersey retired in Colorado, and it's all about his dad. And I don't believe that at all. I mean, he really worked hard to have a 13-12 record and almost win an Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's biting. It's funny. But people are around like, oh no, we don't want to offend Shedeur. And Shedeur's not laughing, like, shut up, laughing. Nobody laughs at themselves. Nobody laughs at themselves anymore.
On social media, it was the next thing, and
The meltdown came blazing in, like Shedeur had torched the ESPY stage instead of just saying, no thanks. Some insiders acted like he ditched a royal coronation instead of a TV award show. And let's be real, the ESPYs? Half the crowd is there to network, the other half is just checking if LeBron wore new sneakers. Yet the way they carried on, you'd think skipping it was life or death. Don't let them fool you with that fake talk about commitment or team image.
When everything transpired, I was out of town, so I was like, nah, the first thing I do when I get back, definitely come to the community. I could tell everybody's vibe out here is down to earth. So a lot of people that didn't want me coming out here doing it, but I don't understand why. You know, God told me come out here, so I'm never gonna question his word. It's definitely just get active and actually do it. You know, sending money and stuff, that's easy, but you have to actually go out there and be in the flesh. You know, I feel like that's more impactful.
Nah, this was about control. The second Shedeur chose to move with autonomy, the narrative machine fired up like a villain's origin story. He said, I'll pass on the cameras, I'll give back to the real people. And suddenly, he's treated like he dodged military duty. If he'd shown up smiling for flashes, they'd be calling him the next face of leadership. But the second he invests in the same community that built him up, it's concerning behavior? Make it make sense. They're twisting the optics into knots. A rookie quarterback, barely out of college, doing what most veterans don't even bother with, actually pouring time and resources into his people.
Shedeur Sanders is slowly becoming my favorite quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Not just because of his play, but what he's doing off the field is insane. The man was out of town, a fire happened, 40 families were affected. One man passed away, sadly, after going in and rescuing people. Shedeur hosted an event with his own money, food trucks, t-shirts, played with the kids, and actually showed up to this event. Now, I don't know what other people were there, but this man hosted it in a short period of time, got it all together.
Instead of celebrating his moves, they're acting like he ghosted the president himself. Oh no, Shedeur missed a trophy show where millionaires hand other millionaires more trophies. Call the cops, right? The drama is laughable. And let's be clear, he wasn't out wilding in Vegas, bottle popping at clubs, or glued to Twitch streaming Fortnite in a gaming chair worth more than rent. Nah, he was outside, laced up, boots on the ground, connecting with kids, mentoring, pouring into his community, doing the exact stuff fans wish more athletes actually cared about. But in the twisted court of media judgment, that ain't sexy enough. That ain't marketable enough. The hypocrisy is wild. The same folks clutching pearls over Shedeur would be crying tears of joy if it was their favorite star handing out cleats and reading to kids.
We're here at the Rainbow Terrace Apartments where the Garden Valley Fun Fest is taking place. Now on June 23rd, an explosion and fire broke out here. It displaced over 40 families and took the life of one man, hospitalized others. But through that tragedy, the community is coming together, as you can see right now, for this event with the help of Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. He's right there. Now Sanders took to Instagram and made sure that people knew that this event was happening. He wanted the community to come out. This event is all about fun. There's music, there's food, there's games. It's all about communities coming together. Sanders said it was important to him.
But because it's him, suddenly it's suspicious. See, Shedeur don't play the puppet game. He's not packaging fake humility in a tux for cameras. He's rocking a hoodie and making real impact. And that freaks them out, because now he's not just a weapon on the field, he's becoming a force off it. And you know what terrifies the system more than a fumbled snap? A young black quarterback with both talent and direction. That's when they slap labels on him.
Shedeur Sanders, the hero that everybody needs. Man, I'm so jealous of Cleveland. I'm not talking about the football team, because this is bigger than football. It's deeper than football. Shedeur Sanders goes to visit the Cleveland apartments over there at Rainbow Terrace Apartments. They had a situation with fires, I think a week to 2 weeks ago or whatever. Hey, the beautiful people of Cleveland, please correct me how long ago this fire was, but it was a serious fire.
Problematic. Attitude issues. They whisper, they spin, they try to drag him back down into the box they want him in. But here's the punchline. They know the truth. Shedeur is already a star. That's why the backlash feels so bitter. He didn't need the ESPYs. The ESPYs needed him. They wanted that viral shot, that TikTok clip, that marketable soundbite. He robbed them of their free promo, and now they're salty about it. Is this really the new professional guidance? If that's the blueprint, then the league's in trouble. And the wildest part? Shedeur already knew the backlash was coming.
I think there's ever been a player where there's a wider variance of opinion between the media and NFL executives. The media, myself included, saw him as a B prospect, a good solid in a very, very weak quarterback draft class, certainly arguable first-round prospect, maybe a second, third-round talent, but you know, solid, good family DNA, moved well, historically accurate, good kid, not a bad kid, certainly a better prospect than first-rounder Kenny Pickett by far.
And he did it anyway. That's what makes it hilarious for the critics trying to drag him down. He played their game before it even started. They keep waiting on him to fold, to spit out buzzwords, post some PR-polished apology, and play nice. But Shedeur won't do it. He's not just following a playbook, he's rewriting the whole thing. And the crazy part? The NFL hasn't even handed him a jersey yet, and he's already showing more raw leadership than half the vets in the league. Not the scripted kind from interviews, the real kind that actually shakes things up. So of course the establishment panics. They throw weak jabs, petty critiques, hoping one sticks. But spoiler alert, it won't.
Shedeur Sanders has two things going for him. And don't kid yourself, this is how the league works. The owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, is really impulsive. And in a quarterback room with zero star power except Shedeur Sanders, he's going to get a chance. He is desperate to be recognized and for star power. Cleveland's roster is the weakest easily in the division, and the early schedule is brutal. So my prediction, you start looking at that schedule between week 7 and 10, Shedeur Sanders is going to get a shot here. Shedeur's on this roster because Jimmy Haslam wanted him on the roster. Haslam is starving for a star quarterback. So this is a team that's going to be boring offensively. You know what will make him not boring?
This entire meltdown over a skipped award show looks faker than influencer tears on live stream. The outrage isn't rooted in football, it's rooted in envy. While insiders write think pieces to look relevant, Shedeur is out here changing lives in real time. He's shaping futures, and that's not even up for debate. And if anyone's still confused, remember this: the loudest boos always come from the cheapest seats. And just when you thought the circus couldn't get messier, suddenly helping people is controversial. Shedeur Sanders showing up for his community wasn't just a flex of leadership, it was treated like a threat to the system itself. Because at this point, it's not even about football anymore. We've crossed into something darker. We're doing good sparks alarms in boardrooms and media rooms across the country. He didn't throw a party, he didn't star in a fashion spread. No filter, no script, just straight up service. And that's what lit the fuse. That's what sparked the N.F.L. whisper campaign and the media's pearl clutching. We're living in a cartoon, and not even the funny kind. They couldn't handle that Shedeur's kindness didn't come with a camera crew. He wasn't chasing viral moments, he was just putting in work. And that cracked their whole worldview wide open. They need athletes to act self-serving, show up when there's money to grab, play along when there's something to gain, perform when they're told. Shedeur said, nah.
Here we are in April, and Schefter comes out this week and says, you know, it looks like Travis Hunter is going to go to the Browns. Folks, nobody knows what Cleveland's going to do. And this is where I get risky, and I say, I'm taking Shedeur Sanders. I mean, you know, frankly, he didn't have elite protection at Colorado, so I don't think we've seen the best Shedeur Sanders. Currently, he may end up on a roster, but I think the Cowboys have moved on with this new Joe Milton move. And I'll counter that with, I take the risk and I go Shedeur Sanders, because you know what? If I get Hunter and I got no quarterback throwing to him, I'm probably getting fired if I'm the front office. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to be a risk taker, Shedeur Sanders.
He showed up when nobody was watching, and that's exactly what made it dangerous. This was never about a quarterback missing an award show. This was about how shaken the system gets when a young black man refuses to play the mascot. Shedeur didn't ask for applause. He delivered impact. In a world obsessed with optics over action, that's the kind of move that fries circuits. That's the glitch in the matrix. Nothing terrifies the power brokers more than an athlete who doesn't need their permission to lead. And don't get it twisted, this goes way beyond sports. This is about the narrative industrial complex losing its grip when somebody does something so undeniably good, even the haters have to twist themselves into knots trying to find a flaw. Something bigger is happening here. They're not just trying to drag Shedeur, they're sending a warning to the next one. Don't step out of line. Don't think for yourself. Don't uplift your people unless we decide how, where, and when. That's the play. Keep the system predictable. Keep stars dependent. Keep influence in check. Because if more players start following Shedeur's lead, if this becomes the new standard, the old playbook burns. And the gatekeepers, they don't want to rewrite it. They want submission. They want control. And control starts with fear. So they twist good into bad and real leadership into arrogance. They twist empowerment into controversy. Classic manipulation. Shedeur took a lane they didn't approve, and it rattled the whole system. He made community look cool. He made humility look powerful. He made leadership feel natural. And worst of all, he didn't beg for their stage.
But there is no way in this world that the Cleveland Browns cut Shedeur Sanders. You know how fast people would be on the phones? That would be like... that would literally be like Tim Cook being fired by Apple. He would be picked up instantly by another company. That'd be like the Lakers cutting LeBron. I'm sorry, maybe not to the level of
yeah,
play,
not talent, maybe just like name value.
But name wise, oh my God, you know how many teams would grab Shedeur? I still can't believe he fell to the 5th round. There's no way they cut him. I know they were talking about that. If he gets outperformed, they're going to cut him. No.
Well, it reminds me of like the Tim Tebow situation.
He built his own with real people, real struggles, and real purpose. That's not just admirable. That's revolutionary. You can hear the panic leaking out of press rooms. They're scrambling, trying to spin drama out of thin air. Why wasn't he at the ESPYs? Like it's some sacred rite of passage. The real scandal isn't that he skipped an award show. The scandal is that a man giving back is being twisted into selfishness. Here's the truth. The ESPYs didn't give him a platform. Shedeur is the platform now, and that's what's driving them off the rails. They don't know how to handle someone who doesn't crave their spotlight. Because when you don't need their cameras, you don't need their permission. When you don't play their game, their rules don't apply. That's why they see Shedeur as more than just an athlete. To them, he's a disruptor, a walking PR nightmare for a machine built on fake smiles and hollow gestures. He came in with real moves, real impact, and real intent. And they weren't ready. So now we're watching the system scramble, twisting headlines, inventing beef, throwing anything to keep control. But here's the kicker. If being good on purpose actually becomes the new standard, their whole playbook collapses. What happens when players stop chasing clout and start chasing legacy? When giving back isn't for the photo op, but for the long haul, that's the end of their storyline. That's the collapse of their script. That's straight up revolution in cleats. So yeah, this was never about football. This is about a system so allergic to authenticity that it would rather demonize virtue than admit it exists. They'd rather drag a man for doing good than face the fact that real integrity doesn't need their approval. This is about a quarterback who chose principle over PR. And now he's catching heat, not because he's wrong, but because he's right in ways they can't spin. And if you listen past the fake outrage and recycled headlines, you can hear it, that low undertone of fear in the establishment's voice. Let them twist themselves up, turning charity into chaos, painting good deeds as controversy. The rest of us, we see it plain as day. Shedeur Sanders didn't just skip an award show. He sparked a movement, and no spin, no smear, no slanted headline is strong enough to shut that down. If you're rocking with this story, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It helps more than you think, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.